My name is Bob Omondi. I'm a first officer with Kenya Airways, currently on the 787. I started initially on the 737. I got into Kenya Airways through the ab initio program. So it's a program that I got in after high school. We went through a couple of interviews, and then after that we were chosen, a group of us, taken down to South Africa I was down there for a year and a half. After the year and a half, came back, I'd gotten my license, my commercial pilot license, and then came for training in KQ. Now what happens is, we start with the lowest fleet, which in Kenya Airways is the Embraer fleet. You start as a first officer on the Embraer fleet. After some time, you're promoted to the 737, and then later on to the 787, all as first officers. Then when you get to a certain number of hours, about 3,000 hours, and you've upgraded your license now to an air transport license from the commercial pilot license, then you are promoted to become a captain.
And on that heading,
I'm now sitting on about 4,000 hours. The longest I've flown, of course, is a New York route. Yes, that can be as long as 15 hours. Sometimes, surprisingly, it goes to 12 hours, 50 minutes, depending on the wind. And Bangkok is pretty long too, but it's just more tedious because you're just the two of you. When you're going to New York, you have two sets of crew, so you get time to rest. On the Bangkok route, it's a 9-hour flight, you're only two people. I remember in South Africa, my first flight, very nerving, because you can't believe it's you controlling the aircraft. But very soon that goes away because there's a thrill to it. There's a thrill to it once you understand that the aircraft won't just fall down from the sky. And there are principles of flight, there are laws of physics behind it. Once you understand that, it's very relaxing. It's actually one of the best things, one of the most enjoyable things I've done in my life. Mm-hmm. We do a medical check every year. If you're under 40, you do a medical check every year. Above 40, it's every 6 months. So it is in your best interest to keep yourself healthy. Because if you're over 40 and every 6 months you have to see a doctor and there's a problem, now that becomes a problem. Your mental health is very important because that time, at the point you're seated on that seat, 234 lives depend on you making the right decision. So dealing with that also affects, and whatever it could be, financial, mental, or social problem, it is advised that you try and fix that or do whatever you can before you get to the aircraft. Understandably, you can't fix every problem. So you'll have to learn how to deal with it. And especially now that you're going away, sometimes I could be leaving for 5 days. You have to know that you'll be away for 5 days, and sometimes there's a problem at home or whatever it is, a social problem, financial problem. You have to know how to deal with that so that it does not affect your work. Right now, I could say flying, for us, there's no holiday, so to speak. I could be flying on Christmas Day, I could be flying on New Year's Day. So that, in a sense, sometimes can be a disadvantage, but it depends on how you look at it. It's very possible. I personally wanted to be a pilot since I was 7. Then I didn't know anything about flying, but that just was my dream. So I kept at it. I kept the dream alive. What you can do is just be the best at the situation you're in. If you're in school, just do your very best.
In what subjects?
The ones that would really come in handy is mathematics, physics is really good, English is good, but then just, for example, in my case, when we were doing the ab initio interviews, we were up to 1,000 people applying for only 19 slots. So you might have performed well in a few subjects, and then you get someone who's performed well in those subjects and overall performed well, then they have an edge over you. So what I tell people is just try your very best to do well in all subjects, but special attention to maths, physics, and English, because that is what they ask for.